Imagine a time before the world as we know it existed, before humanity, before the stars marked the passing of days and years, before life moved across the earth. There was only the creative command of Allah. According to a narration attributed to Imam al-Sadiq in chapter 64 of Haft al-Shareef, creation began through a sequence of divine acts. Allah fashioned forms and images and created light. Then fire was veiled by wind, water was created and likewise veiled by wind. From the foam of the sea came mud, and from these primordial substances emerged the foundations of creation. From light Allah created the angels, from fire He created the jinn, from mud came the image of Adam, yet Adam was not formed from mud alone. The narration describes the human being as a union of mud, fire, wind and water, combining within a single creature the elements of the earthly world. Alongside these earthly elements are realities connected to the hereafter, particularly light and spirit, which give life, awareness and perception. In this vision, humanity occupies a unique place between heaven and earth. The body belongs to the material world, while the spirit originates from a higher realm. Human existence is therefore presented as a meeting point between two dimensions of reality. The narration explains that each element plays a role in sustaining life. Fire is associated with digestion and the transformation of food within the body. Without the fire that resides within the stomach, nourishment could not be processed. Wind is associated with movement and the circulation of forces throughout the body. It supports the operation of the inner fire and enables motion and sensation. Light is connected to sight and knowledge. Through light, human beings perceive the world around them and become aware of what was previously hidden. Water is linked to nourishment, taste and vitality. Just as water sustains the earth, it sustains life within the human body. And above all of these is the spirit, the divine breath that animates the human being. Without the spirit, the body would neither move nor act. The narration then presents a remarkable comparison between the human being and the world itself. The bones of the body are likened to trees and mountains rooted in the earth. Blood resembles the rivers and waters that nourish the land. Hair is compared to the grasses that grow across the face of the earth. Even the brain is described as the refined essence and foam of the blood. The human being becomes a reflection of creation itself, a small universe mirroring the greater universe. Just as the earth depends upon water for life, the body depends upon blood. Just as landscapes are shaped by natural forces, the human body is shaped by the interaction of its elements. Life, according to this teaching, exists when these elements remain joined together. The spirit descends from the realm of the hereafter and becomes united with the body of this world. As long as this union remains intact, the human being lives upon the earth. Death occurs when that union is separated. The body remains behind, returning gradually to the earth from which it came. The wind dries the body, the elements disperse, and each part returns to its original source. The spirit, however, returns to the realm from which it descended. In this way, death is not portrayed as annihilation. It is presented as a return. What was gathered together is distinguished once more, and each part returns to its origin. The narration describes this process differently for believers and disbelievers. The believer is associated with light, while the disbeliever is associated with fire. In both cases, movement and life originate from the spirit, yet the ultimate destination reflects the nature of the person's relationship with Allah. For the believer, death is described as mercy. It is a release from the limitations of earthly existence and a return to divine light. The world itself is described as a prison for the believer, not because creation is evil, but because it is temporary and incomplete compared with what awaits beyond it. For the disbeliever, however, death is described as the loss of worldly comfort and power, followed by a return to the consequences of rejection and ingratitude. The narration also discusses suffering in this world. Poverty, sickness, conflict, and hardship are portrayed as forms of trial and consequence. Human actions have effects not only upon society but also upon the condition of the soul. Sin is linked to desire and forgetfulness. For the believer, mistakes may arise through weakness or error. For the disbeliever, the narration emphasizes deliberate rejection, envy, and rebellion after truth has become known. Before humanity was created, the angels are described as the first creatures devoted entirely to the worship of Allah. Created from light, they neither disobey nor deviate from the commands entrusted to them. They remain faithful to the covenant placed upon them and do not alter what has been given. The jinn, however, are described differently. Created from fire, they existed before humanity and inhabited the earth. According to the narration, they eventually spread corruption and bloodshed, forgetting the covenant and trust that had been placed upon them. This history provides the background for the famous exchange mentioned in the Quran, when the angels ask why a vicegerent should be placed upon the earth if corruption and bloodshed might follow. The narration then speaks of veils that separate different levels of existence. There are veils between the individual and the spirit, between the spirit and the angels, between the angels and the jinn, and between the jinn and humanity. These veils help explain why unseen realities remain hidden from ordinary perception. Reality extends beyond what is immediately visible to human senses. The narrative then shifts from the creation of humanity to the ordering of the cosmos itself. After Adam was placed upon the earth, the celestial bodies were commanded to move in their appointed courses. The motions of the heavens established the rhythms by which life would be measured. Day and night became distinguishable. Months and years became known. Time itself became organized through the movement of celestial bodies. The narration describes 12 constellations through which the sun passes, creating the divisions of the year. The cycle of days, months, and seasons emerges from the harmony of celestial motion. Even sleep becomes a sign within this cosmic order. Sleep is described as the brother of death, while waking is a reminder of resurrection. Each night and morning become small reflections of the greater mysteries of mortality and renewal. Just as the sleeper returns to consciousness after a period of stillness, humanity is reminded of the possibility of life after death. The heavens, the earth, the body, and the soul are all presented as interconnected signs pointing toward deeper truths. Nothing exists in isolation. The movements of the stars mirror the movements of life. The cycles of nature mirror the cycles of birth, death, and renewal. The structure of the human being reflects the structure of the world itself. In the end, chapter 64 presents a universe infused with meaning. Humanity is portrayed as a bridge between earthly matter and heavenly spirit. Life is a temporary union of elements. Death is their separation. And creation, from the smallest particle of dust to the vast motions of the heavens, unfolds according to the wisdom and command of Allah. The chapter invites its readers to look beyond appearances and see the world as a network of signs, each pointing back to the one from whom all things came and to whom all things ultimately return.